Plaintiff Frankie Rubin says he asked the defendant to take a peek at his wonky coffee grinder, but his neighbor ended up breaking the thing. His caffeine withdrawal is starting to take its toll, so he's suing for $80. Defendant Mike Ryan says his neighbor is cuckoo for coffee beans because that grinder was broken before he parted. He's not paying a penny for the plaintiff's problems.
You are suing your neighbor Mike for $80 for breaking your coffee grinder and then emotional distress. So tell me about your coffee grinder.
Okay, great. So I am a very enthusiastic coffee drinker. I don't know if you are.
I enjoy coffee a lot.
So
I have it every morning.
Then you're going to understand where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah.
I buy organic free trade coffee, whole beans only. Serious coffee drinkers make their own coffee. They get the beans they like. Maybe you buy different types of beans, and you grind the coffee with your own home grinder each time you want to make coffee. Because when you're buying coffee like at the store, like your grandmother used to buy, already in a can, it's ground, that's not a real coffee drinker's coffee. A real coffee drinker likes good quality coffee. So I have this coffee grinder that I bought.
How much does like a grinder like that cost?
Well, there's a wide range. The
Yeah.
one I bought cost $55. And I was having issues with the coffee grinder. And I was in touch with the company to discuss with them what to do about it. Now, the company, they were willing to consider replacing it if I shipped it back to them, and the shipping would cost $25. So we're talking about a $50 coffee grinder, $25 to ship it. I was discussing this with Mike because we know each other from the neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
And I mentioned to him, you know, my coffee grinder, it's a drag. It's broken. When you make coffee and the grinds fall into the container, it leaks out, it falls out on the side. It's not working properly. He said, really? He says, maybe I'll look at it. I said, you know what? I don't want to mess with the coffee grinder because I'm going to try to work something out with the company. But he insisted. He says, look, let me put my hands on it.
Where was it? Was it your house?
It was at my, sure. He maybe has a degree from MIT. I'm not aware of. Maybe he's an appliance master, but he's not. He came to my house. And he insisted, you know those kind of people who just like, oh, I'll do it for you? He insisted, I'm
sat
speaking,
down
Mike.
for coffee.
Okay, you invited him to your house.
Well, yeah.
Come over, have a cup of coffee.
Right.
You're having a cup of coffee with your grinder.
That's right.
And you heard a crazy sound.
It's supposed to fall into this little compartment here.
Yeah.
And it's falling out, it's leaking out into other sides.
There was
He said, you know, I'll look at
Well, he
it.
shows it to me. You showed it to me. Look at the coffee grinder. Look.
You
what
know-
do you think? What do you think? Slides it over
Excuse me,
to me.
he asked me, right?
Well,
so
he
I'm speaking.
slides it. Okay.
So I'm discussing this with him. I said, you know, I'm really unhappy with the coffee grinder. I'm going to work something out. I'm going to send it to the manufacturer. He says, let me take a look. I said, wait, don't get involved with it because I don't want to make it worse. What do you think probably happened? He insisted. He put his hands on it. Somehow he's a master coffee grinder repair person. And now it's worse. On top of which, and this is the important one, now he breaks it. What am I supposed to do? Buy another coffee grinder? So now, if you're a drinker,
I
you
did
like
not
your coffee,
break it.
You made it worse, Mike. So now I'm feeling like my whole day is thrown off. You know when you don't have the right coffee?
How did you get through the day?
I think you should try decaf.
This is what I call a.
There's a lot of emotional distress related to this.
I can see.
Yeah.
kind of like a kid with his toy, you know, like a broken toy.
Okay, this is what I call a first world problem.
Okay.
He says, look at this, slides it over to me. Implied, you know, like take a look. That,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
you picked it up, you looked.
I'm fooling around with how it fits in,
Yeah.
the part that's loose, and I couldn't fix it. I fooled around with it just like he was doing.
Couldn't fix it.
I couldn't
Okay.
fix it. It was already broken, and I
Yeah.
put it back. It was in when I left. It was in the same condition as when I got there.
Okay.
It's about the principle. It's the principle.
Why
you know,
is it
people
principle?
people have to
Isn't this
understand
a problem
boundaries.
you have with
This is
everybody,
understanding
Frankie?
social boundaries.
It's also possible that because it was leaking and everything, the thing was beyond repair anyway. It's
Respectfully-
possible.
That's
Respectfully,
right,
Your
exactly,
Honor.
because he was looking to
Why
get
couldn't you go out
compensation.
and just buy a cup of coffee from a nice
I
coffee
can,
shop?
but it's inferior.
It was the company's fault that sold it to him. He's on the phone with them first. Now it's my fault.
Okay.
All his problems are
Now,
somebody
the fact
else's
that
fault.
you were
well,
the-
you know,
the fact
only the
hang
ones that
on.
involve you.
Yeah.
The fact that you were calling the company is some evidence that there was something wrong with the coffee grinder to begin with. You were the one that discovered that something was wrong. Now, there's no proof. You may suspect he may in fact have made it worse, but in the court you have to prove your case. You can't prove that he broke it, but I'm willing to do this. You're a coffee expert, you say.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I would
But you're
say
good. An aficionado.
that's the word we're looking for.
We are going to have a coffee test. You and me are going to have a taste test. We're going to have a coffee tasting contest now, and the relevance of this is you are maintaining in your suit that you also want some money for emotional distress because you need your cup of coffee. Now, I'm trying to gauge how important your particular brand of coffee is. So we're going to test this, how
You got it.
important it really is to you. There are in front of you 5 cups of coffee, and the list here is My Java, a national brand of caramel iced coffee, a local coffee shop black coffee, your personal coffee, that's the one that you really like, and a national brand of white mocha. So which one do you think is yours?
The one that's mine, and I'm not positive, is 4,
Interestingly enough, I say the same thing. 4 is yours.
because it has a nice flavor to it,
It's got a nice flavor.
and it has good body.
Number 4 is My Java. Jerry's Java is the break room coffee. That's why I never have coffee in the break room. No, actually, it's very good. I'm going to take a break.
You should.
Well, there you go, Smarty Pants.
I never claimed to be a coffee expert. Did I ever said I was an expert? No. I said I was an aficionado.
Yes.
One can enjoy something without being an expert.
Exactly. I believe that you are serious about your coffee, but I think you're going to survive it because if it was so important to your health, your mind, you probably would have been able to tell right off which is more likely to be yours. Based on that, and also suing your neighbor for breaking a coffee grinder that you cannot prove he broke, I've dismissed the case. Time for a coffee break.
I will probably will not have coffee with Frankie again.
In as much as you can be disappointed and annoyed at a moment, I think it is useful in anything in life to find the opportunity to move forward. There's no point in keeping some cantankerous relationship where it's not needed. So yes, I would say we can repair the friendship. I wouldn't let him fix anything in my house.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.